Hi, another mama who also has a child with some similar symptoms as my son wanted me to make this video to talk about how I started the gluten-free, casein-free diet. And the best piece of advice I have is to not be like me and to be like my husband. I read about the diet way before the specialists ever brought it to us to think about. And the minute I read it, I thought, okay, well, he really likes to eat mac and cheese, top ramen, and noodles with spaghetti sauce. So this diet isn't going to work for us and we're not going to do it. And I wrote it off. When my husband read about it, when the specialist brought over a list of treatment options, um, he was like, well, he can still have a lot of the things that he likes, so we should try this. So instead of starting out by thinking what your child can't have anymore, start with what they still can eat. So let's talk about what my child liked before that he could still have. And I'll just start at breakfast and then go through like snacks. And then I will talk about other meals. So, for breakfast, my son can still have eggs. He can still have eggs for breakfast. We just don't put cheese on them. And instead of cooking them in butter, we use a canola oil or olive oil cooking spray. No big deal. So that was easy. Breakfast was the first meal that we ever switched because it was so easy. Please don't eat the eggs. Thank you, sweetie. All right, so let's talk about drinks because your kid needs to drink all day long. You can't have milk. My son is not a big milk drinker. He refused to drink milk after we took his bottle away when he turned 2. So that wasn't a big deal. But at one point, my husband had gotten him addicted to Kool-Aid and Hawaiian Punch. And the way I got him off of those was by watering it down. So just slowly, I started out with like 3/4 Kool-Aid and 1/4 of his sippy cup was water, moved it to half and half. And once I got it to half and half, it was really easy to switch him to fruit juice. And I never do straight fruit juice because I don't want to clean up the diarrhea. So he can still have his favorite fruit juice is apple juice. He can still have apple juice. All we have to do is water it down because we don't want to deal with him having diarrhea or being hyped up from way too much fructose. So I just do half his sippy cups juice, half his water. And before you think I'm mean, I drink straight ice water all day long. I hardly ever drink anything other than water. So for me, when I taste it, I think it's plenty sweet. And because that's all he ever gets, he thinks it's plenty sweet enough as well. So he's not really missing out. Next thing that he can still have is our favorite get through the shopping trip surprise. He can still have his Mike and Ike's. That is one of the few candies on the gluten-free, casein-free list that they have confirmed with the company are not made in the same factory as anything with flour. So, Mike and Ike's are still good. So are Starbursts and Skittles and a lot of other candies too. If you're not sure about your child's favorite little bribe, you can call the company and they will be happy to tell you. He can still have his Betty Crocker fruit snacks. They are gluten-free. They've started making them in a separate place from the cereal and the bread, the baking mixes. So, still have his fruit snacks. He liked potato chips. He can still have Lay's unflavored potato chips because they are made where no gluten will get on them or leftover casein from the milk that they use in the flavors. He can still have popcorn. All I had to do was cook it over the stove in a pot, which is really easy. You just pour enough oil to cover the bottom of the pot, enough kernels to cover the bottom of the pot, a little bit of salt, and you just shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it till it pops. It takes a while, but it's not hard. I do it that way because popcorn without butter on it, air popped, is not delicious. So we did that. So one other thing that he loved is craisins. Craisins are gluten-free. He can still have his little cranberries. So from there, he had snacks and he had breakfast, and we could switch that right away by just cutting out his waffles, his Cheetos, and other snacks like that weren't on the diet. Oreos was a big one. So in the next video I will talk a little bit more about substituting foods for your child and about some of the challenges that you'll face with that.